Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how it's alive!
Welcome to Where the Weird Ones Are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that. And if you didn't, now you do. So today, this episode, we talked to Farrah from the Conversation Cabin. I absolutely adore this woman. She has a lovely voice. She tells stories so well. Her podcast is the Conversation Cabin, obviously, like I just said. And I would really love for everybody to give her a listen. She tells phenomenal stories. Just her voice alone is appealing and kind of pulls you in. A lot of people don't have the storytelling voice, so I think she does, and I think she's gonna go a long way, and I'm super excited to be a part of it and a part of her journey, and I hope that it's that we continue to be friends. I'm sure we will. So we recorded this episode a couple weeks ago. I have since been on her show, which her episode with me comes out literally the day before this comes out. So this is Wednesday. I mean, today I'm not recording on Wednesday, but when this comes out, it will be Wednesday. The episode I recorded with her is Tuesday. So if you're interested, go check it out. If you're not, then fuck you. I don't care. Just fucking kidding. Shit. No, but seriously, check her out. Like, you don't have to listen to the episode with me or anything. Just check her out. And show her some love. Give her 5-star ratings. Let her know what you think. You can get her on Instagram as the Conversation Cabin. She has a Patreon. Please check that out too. She's doing newsletters about her episodes and what's going on with her in her show. So yeah, please give her a follow and a listen. I personally would appreciate it if you did. So other than that, she has some really good stories. She actually captured audio of what she thinks is a Bigfoot, and to me it does sound like it could be a Bigfoot. There's knocks on her cabin, hence the title of the episode. So she has some interesting stories. She actually, so I don't know if you know what a pendulum is, but she consults that. If you've been listening to the past couple episodes, you know that I currently had, or that I did have, shadow people or a person in my hallway periodically. I would say this would be like the third week now since I've cleansed my house. I haven't seen this entity. She consulted her pendulum and it said that it was not a positive entity. So it never scared me, so it didn't really bother me. But as you know, when you allow things to build up and you allow things to take time and give it for it to gain energy, they become stronger and all that. So I got rid of it before it could really do anything, and I'm hoping that it doesn't come back. If it does, then I'll just continue to do what I did. So, anyways, so if you want to be on the show, please do not hesitate to send me an email. Give me like a little brief description of what your stories are. You don't have to go into complete detail. Just give me a little heads up of what it is. And you can reach me at wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com. We can do this anonymously. You don't have to be on YouTube, and you don't have to have your picture out like I do on Instagram when I have guests on. But so far, everybody has not minded being on YouTube or having pictures of them and allowing people to see who they are. So, anywho, also, if you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram, which is where_the_weird_ones_are. You can DM me on there too, really. It doesn't bother me. I reply to the majority of what I get. Sometimes, like the hidden, like I don't know what it is about the hidden thing. Sometimes I don't see it until it's been months. So, So yeah, the email would probably be better in that regard, just in case if I'm not following you back, then your messages I most likely won't see until like months later, and by then I feel weird replying. But yeah, I will reply anyway. So, and most of the time I don't get anything back after that. So, I mean, it is what it is. We all got lives to go to do our shit. So, what else? What else do I need to talk about before this episode gets motherfucking started? Let's see. Go to 16%.com. Enter my code at checkout for like any kind of cryptid merchandise. They do like plushies and shit. It's actually pretty cool. And you can enter the code at Stay Weird at checkout. I have to look back into it, but I'm pretty sure it's capital S, capital W. And it's together, no spaces. If that doesn't work, it's just Stay Weird. But I'm pretty sure it's capitals. Also, Down the Rabbit Hole has an Etsy. I think you should check out. I would appreciate it. He would appreciate it. He would love the business. So, check him out. I believe his Instagram is _down_the_rabbit_hole_. So if you go to that Instagram, you can find his shit. So, other than that, I think that's it. Also, I mean, if you have weird shit that you want to talk about, Farrah is going to start doing guests as well. Not just doing her storytelling, but she's also going to be talking to guests. And she has a couple pretty interesting guests lined up, and I think you should check those episodes out. There's two of them that are going to be really good episodes. So I am going to continue listening. So I've been following her since she started. So yeah. So that is it. That is all I have to say. And without further ado, here's Farrah from the Conversation Cabin with some interesting stories to tell. Stay weird, my friends.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird get weird.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. Today I have Farrah from the Conversation Cabin. If you haven't checked out her podcast, I highly suggest it. I listen to it every episode the day they come out, and I enjoy it. I think she's a phenomenal storyteller. She actually wrote a story for her grandchildren that I also enjoyed. Even though I am not a small child, I still listened to it and liked it. So, Farrah, how is it going?
Oh, it is going well. How are you doing?
I
And thank
am.
you for that
You're
little comment. That's wonderful.
you're welcome. You're so very welcome. You deserve it.
Thank
So,
you.
um, real quick before we dive into it, just let everybody know where they can find you and a little bit about yourself.
Of course, sure. So, hi, everybody from the Weird Ones Are Listening fans. Kevin is so amazing. So, I hope everybody out there gives him the credit that he deserves as well for his podcast. But you can find me on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, the regulars, Audible, Amazon Music. If you want to follow me, you can go, of course, through Podbean, but people just pick what they want to pick. But yes, I'm on all the good little streaming services. hmm
Perfect. Perfect. I like that you call your listeners the cabin crew.
Yes,
That's cute.
I came up with that because it was, I want people to feel like they're a part of this ride with me because I used to be a skeptic long ago. Who
Mhm.
who hasn't? If you
Right.
don't see things for yourself, then you're going to have a skeptic eye. But I mean, once your friends and your family come with you to stories and you start wondering, maybe if I take a more of a deep dive, see if this, and we moved to this cabin which is crazy here, but that's where I came up with the conversation cabin because it is scary here. A lot of strange things happen here, which I'm documenting all of that on top of doing stories that listeners want to hear: cryptids, dogman, UFOs, alien abductions, mysteries, true crime, all of that. So yeah, I love it.
Awesome. So what was it exactly 100% if you could, well, what was it exactly that inspired you to really start the podcast?
I think it was because more people need to come out and say something, and I want to give them a voice to do that. I know it sounds almost like stereotypical, that everybody says that. Well, we need to give a voice to the people. No, really, we do. A
Mm,
lot more women also need to get out in the paranormal field. They need to go out there, it's a woman's world out there. So get out there, investigate, research. No one's going to think you're crazy. But it was just I've experienced some crazy things on this property where my cabin lies. And at first you're kind of scared to say something because you're like, well, everybody hears about balloons in the skies and shooting down things, and you don't know what you're going to, is it fake, is it real? So I wanted to bring my spin on it, my story. But like I said, I want to get people to feel comfortable with me and maybe do stories that aren't so popular. Like everybody knows about the Sally House and the Washoe Club, or, the true crime, the Murdoch murders. I want to go in deeper and like find stories that don't get a lot of airtime,
mm,
don't get a lot of justification for those victims or people that had a demonic infestation in their house and they've gone through hell, literally.
right.
And I just, like I said, I want to create this channel to be me and the listener, not just me. I want to bring you in on the ride with me, the adventure, the journey.
Well, I think you do a very good job at that with the way you tell the stories of each
Thank you.
episode. So keep doing what you're doing because it feels like you're bringing us there already. So
Ooh, that's what I was going for. So thank you.
you're welcome. Um, so when I started my podcast is basically the same thing, was to talk to people and let them know that, so they have somebody that they can tell their stories to without being like, oh, they're gonna think I'm crazy. Like,
Right.
I experience stuff too, so I try to let people know that I have on that I've also experienced things, so
Hmm.
that it to help them maybe feel more comfortable. So,
Right. You're giving them an ear and you're not making them feel like they're being eyed up and down and judged, you
right.
know? And that's awesome that you do that, Kevin, because like I said, we're never going to find the answers. Why sit and argue about if it's true or not when you're not going out and finding out if it's true or not? You're not gathering research. You're not taking a chance. And there's so many things out there that we don't even know, but like I
Mhm.
said, that's where it always stops. You always get that conversation. Oh, there's so many things out there that we don't know. Well, okay, so let's go in the woods and go lights out, investigate. No, I couldn't do that. And it's like, well, then how are you gonna know?
Right. Exactly. Another point to something you said, is so the majority of my guests have actually been women, who actually get out there and investigate, and they do their thing, and you know they're like, all of them are pretty strong and independent,
Women
and
power.
yeah, all of them have been amazing, so
Go girls.
I can contest to that.
Good, good. Well, because you see a lot on YouTube, it's always a guy bunch. No
Right.
pun intended, of course. But like I said, I just think that, the women that are in it, kudos to you. Keep pushing strong, keep doing you, and let's get more. Let's get everybody involved. Let's come together as a collab, men and women. And like I said, search for these answers because we're never going to know if we don't get out there.
Exactly, exactly. So did you experience anything paranormal before you ever moved to the cabin?
Yes. There were little things in, the house that I grew up in. But see, I never saw it as paranormal until I got older because when you're a kid, I hear people tell their stories like when I was 3 and da da da. I don't remember what the hell I did when I was 3, but I do, remember like a passing of the toilet paper roll shaking or coming down by itself. Or I'd hear, it's how many times in your life, Kevin, do you go down a basement stairs and when you go back up, you turn around to look? Not many times, but those one few times that you do, I could have swore there was something in my basement, and we had like it was a two-section basement where we had a big it was my dad's like poker room and stuff, but we had a separate little off of the main area where it had the washer and dryer and there was like cobwebs everywhere. And then there was this dark back and it was a Pennsylvania basement, which you have ever seen those. If they're not finished, I mean, they're like the old stone and everything. I'd be down there doing laundry, when I was like an early teenager, 13, 14, and I'd get everything in the basket and then I'd go to turn up the steps and I'm like, I couldn't even look back, but I ran up those steps. And then, I mean, I would slam the door because I honestly felt, but I would go down there 50 other times and not feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So it always made me wonder. But, a lot of my friends came to me with little stories and stuff. And that's what got me first watching. I know you're going to laugh, but Ghost Adventures. But that's where I started watching because I didn't know that people were going out there. Because you have to admit, no matter how much of a geek some people think Zach Bagans is, he did create the path of people going out and investigating.
Mm.
He did kind of seal that. But I just think that, watching him, I didn't know that people did that. And so I started messing around with things. I would get little tape recorders or cassette players. Like I'm talking a the small little cassettes,
Yep.
like, that I used to listen to music on, and keep it on record all night. And I swear to God, there was something in my room. I I don't know. I don't know if anyone died in our house. I mean, it wasn't an old house, I don't think. I think it was like maybe 20 years old when we moved into it. But now what I'm learning more in the paranormal, I learned that no one has to die in a home for it to be. I mean, my whole thought pattern is there are mysterious vortexes out in the woods because
Hmm.
it's a place less traveled. People are just going everywhere. And, maybe it was somebody passing through. Maybe it was something that did happen there. I don't know. I was young to not be able to look into research, but I just wanted to find more. So I kept studying, I kept researching, I kept watching documentaries, not shows like the GA team. I would actually, go into like the 30 East Drive house, reading those stories, in the 70s. Ed and Lorraine Warren, I followed them 20 some years ago, and to some people, it's just starting to get on YouTube for the past 4 or 5 years. But yet I've been reading this stuff for 20 plus years, learning, understanding where they were coming from. And it's a beautiful world out there of paranormal if you just give it a chance. And I'm diving deep in for sure.
That's so you had no idea if anybody had passed in that house or anything
No,
like that.
no,
All right.
no.
So we have I had my dad lived in New Hampshire. We had the same kind of setup in the basement where it was all just it was stone and then the floor was dirt. So I remember always being scared of that basement no matter what. I wouldn't go down in there. And one night we were watching I can't remember what movie we were watching, but it was a horror movie. I think it had to do with ghosts. And we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see something moving. The basement door is in this direction, and I see something moving, and I turn, and my dad is right there in a mask.
Oh my God, I would have screamed and probably crapped my pants because
My-
that's the worst thing is to get scared. But
yeah, and after he scared me because he came out of the basement because I remember seeing
did
like the
he
door move.
know
I don't
that
think
you
he
were
I don't think he
scared?
did.
Oh,
I don't think
wow.
he did, but he came up and he scared it was all four it was my stepbrother and my stepsister and then my sister as well, so it was four of us and he just scared the shit out of all of us.
Well, was there anything in your house? Like, do you know of anything that might have been there to give you that feeling? Because sometimes people are like, they can feel they're like an empathic in some sort of ways. Like, oh, this room feels different. This room feels different. Did you know of anything there?
I didn't know anything there, no. I do know that a lot of things went down in the area. I don't know necessarily that house specifically.
Hmm.
But I know my sister said she saw in that house she saw like a doppelganger of me of so she was following me like around the house and then or
Oh my
me
God.
and my cousin actually I think and we went in or I might be misremembering the story. I think it was just me and she watched me go into the room and she was following me talking to me and then she walked into the room and I wasn't there and she's like what the fuck.
Oh my God. That's bad. That's bad. If you see your doppelganger, that's like an omen right
Right.
there. But wow, I've never met anyone that said that they said that well, your sister saw
Right.
it, not you,
Right.
but I've never met anyone that I'm talking to, I guess I should say, that, had their family or a friend ever had that experience. That's crazy. Did
Yeah.
you, what was around the area? Have you ever looked like, was your area that you lived in? Was it like any historic things happen? Was it a road that always had a bad accident on it or anything like that?
I do know there were a few murders in the town. but it's one of those like old towns from like settlement days,
Oh,
that was
wow.
established around that time. So,
Ooh. You
it's
should look into that.
yeah, I should. I never really thought of actually looking too much into the history, but I do know that. So it's Claremont, New Hampshire. If
Well,
anybody out there is familiar with it.
New Hampshire up in those New England states, since it is a historical place because of everybody settling there, way back and when.
Mm-hmm.
But I did the story on the Bridgewater Triangle,
Yep.
which is up that way.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Bennington Triangle, but kind of linked to the Bridgewater too as well. But
Yeah.
public records start there. Get online to the state and you can dig up some public records to find out who owned it, see, maybe who were some settlers, and get down in there with their names. And ooh, you need to let me know if you ever do that.
I will. I will. Actually, episode 26 is with Phil.
Mhm.
He is in Massachusetts and he investigates along the Bridgewater Triangle all the time. And
Oh, I've
he
been
gets a
wanting to
lot
talk
of
to him.
disembodied voices.
That place is creepy, but that's where I go back and I always say, I think woods or, places like a marshy Bridgewater Triangle, if it's an area that's not traveled a lot and it has like an old history, and maybe it doesn't have an old history, but just in general, I think woods hold like a vortex. They hold portals because, um, when I moved here, the things I have heard in these woods, the things I have seen, and we're known for this area having this. Well, you and I talked about it. This is a pretty crazy place, which I did not know really. I mean, I heard it in passing, but I didn't know the full extent of it before I moved here. I should have did more research. I mean, I was just in love with the cabin. I was like,
Right.
I mean, literally, my fiance had no decision. I was like, hey, in 2 months, we're moving to Tennessee. Here's the cabin. All right. And like literally, I had the utilities turned on. I got the U-Haul set up, everything. He just drove. But I wanted to get out here because we have, number one, a lot of Bigfoot sightings here.
Mm-hmm.
Very big place for Bigfoot sightings, which I believe I've caught some evidence of that. And then, I caught a UFO in the sky to the left of like our front, I guess you want to call it. But yeah, and then you saw the orb that I caught the other day.
Yep.
And, even that astute paranormal group, they used my thing for one of their stories. And they said, normally we would be skeptical of orbs, but this capture that, Conversation Cabin is amazing. So coming from a paranormal group that are pretty popular,
Yeah.
you know, validating it for me, because of course, you get the people that say they're bugs. Okay, well, there's 50 other bugs flying in the camera.
Right.
I know what they look like on infrared. I get it. You look at this. Kevin, what did you think about that when you looked at it? Truly.
Truly, like I told you, after you showed me, my first instinct was, a firefly or a lightning bug, whichever one you want to call it. And I'm watching it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a firefly." And I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I was like, "It's not going off. It's not going off. She might have something here."
It didn't it move like it almost knew that I was watching it through the camera, because when it came up and I did the zoomed part,
Uh-huh.
and it's like going like this, left, right, just kind of hovering there looking, I connected with it in some way. I almost felt like it knew I was watching,
Mm.
which was I've never had that feeling like that before. With the Bigfoot howl that I caught, I was terrified. But with the little light thing, it was more like it seemed like it was trying to tell me that it had a purpose, but I couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
And
Just weird.
what prompted you to look at the camera?
There Arlo cameras. It's the Arlo Pro 4 that we got. And now there's like a base and then there's 3 cameras. So and I made sure that all of them have notifications. The thing that stinks is that it goes off all day long. There's someone detected at the front door. There's someone detected down the shed. There's someone detected down the backyard. Like it'll follow a car from the beginning of the road to the back, and it'll say it'll go through each one, front door, shed, back. But I don't want to miss anything. So, and mind you, I have to tell you that it'll say vehicle, or it will say animal, or it will say person, or motion. It said motion. So I turn on the camera, and that's when I first saw something, and it was live. Now, with an Arlo camera, when you want to look at what the motion detection was, it doesn't automatically record. So that's where you got to give me some major props, because I hit record. Don't know why. I never have done that. If I see something, I'll hit record, but there was nothing at first there. And I'm looking, and then all of a sudden, that's when it enters into the right. And I was like, what is that? So I kept staying online with it, and it's going all over the place. And then that's when it came up close, and I was like, whoa, like, what is that? And I mean, I'm having chills right now telling you about it, because it's just, anyone would die to see something like that. And
Yeah.
I caught it, and I'm so
Live too.
fucking proud. Yes, that's what I mean.
That's the most amazing part. I feel like is that you were literally watching it in real time.
Right. And well, yeah, you're right with that. That's where I almost say that, when you don't know that you're doing something, but you're doing it, like
Yeah.
my body was telling me yes, but my mind telling me no. No. Anyway, but it something drew me to, yes, it said motion detected, but dude, I got motion all day long. It's 30, 40 times a day. Why was it this one that I went to look at it and then I hit record? I don't know. Things happen for reasons, so, but I'm glad I did it. And it's one of the best pieces of evidence besides the Bigfoot howl that I have. So,
Okay.
pretty stoked.
I'm stoked. I was amazed. When watching it, I was just like, oh, once I deterred from it being a firefly, I was like, this is awesome.
Well, that's a good thing that you picked out. Somebody else said that on TikTok, and I never thought about it the way that you just said it, that it would go out, because I lived in Pennsylvania. I know what a freaking firefly is, but it does. It goes blink and then comes back out, blink. But here, we don't have any fireflies. They're only over in the Great Smoky Mountains area, because they breed there and stuff. So, but we don't have those here. And also, it was 30 degrees out. So there really wasn't that many bugs out at night anyway. Maybe the few that you saw, like they look like orbs, but we all know it could be a bug. This was not a bug. It was not a bug. I will stake $1 million in my life on that. Well, I don't have the $1 million. That's why I said my life.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have the video on your computer by any chance?
no, but I can send it to myself in my email, or I can send it to you. Do you want me to send it to you by email?
You can if you'd like, yeah, because I was thinking of showing it through share.
Oh, heck
Here.
yeah. Yeah, let me do it. Hang on. Let me see your conversation, or I could go into conversation, Kevin. There you go. I'll just email you back, and then let's see, choose from library. I'll send you the short clip,
Okay.
like the zoomed in view.
Yep.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And there it is. Okay.
And you captured a UFO as well?
Yes, I captured a UFO as well. That's actually on, I think I have that too. Let me, I'll go ahead and send you that too. Do you want the Bigfoot howl?
You could probably just play the howl right here through your microphone.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I do have, let
Unless
me
you
see,
have video.
well, it's not a video because it was, this is my EVP recorder, which I
Oh, yeah.
recommend everybody use this. This is
Okay.
the Olympus, W5852. This is a banging EVP recorder.
Nice.
Definitely. But yeah, let me go ahead and send you the you wanted the UFO one. Okay, so
Yeah.
UFO. Did you get the first one yet? Just so I know it
Yes.
went through okay?
Yep, I got it.
All right. All right.
Rizzo, your nails on this hardwood floor are very loud. I can hear you right through my microphone. You know?
Is that a doggy?
It is. No.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
All
You've
right.
been good this whole time.
Getting there. Okay, so here we go. So here's where they all are. All right, so there's the Bigfoot one. I'll keep that up. Okay, so here is, let me see. Darn it, where's the UFO one? Oh, there you go. All right, our ring cam. I'm going to send you a couple things, actually. And you can also see it on my, what is it, like my Instagram and TikTok too.
Yeah.
You can see it. If these are the wrong ones, I don't know because I don't want to take up like your time to do that. But let me pull up the Bigfoot howl because tell me, I want to know your thoughts actually because I don't think you and I have talked about it before.
No, we
I
haven't.
think,
We only got the orb,
yep. So
and we talked about your cave.
I love my cave. I love my cave. Now I have to get braver to go back in a couple miles, but dude, I am not a that's not, I've
Yeah.
never really cave explored before. So, all right. And where is Bigfoot? Right here. Yep, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna try it. I don't know, like this.
Like,
Here, I'm gonna send it to you.
okay.
How
That's
about
fine.
can I send it through Instagram or email?
Yeah, do the Instagram. I'll just play it right here to the mic to my microphone.
Okay. That might work better on your end. That's what I'm saying. So let's
Right.
see where the weird ones are. There we go. Send. Okay. It's on its way.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I had
It was like an hour and 15-minute clip, but I took it down to just the isolated, when
Yeah.
it happened. So it's pretty cool.
All right, let's see. I just got it. So we'll play it for the peoples.
Party for the people.
Oh.
Did you hear it?
Yes. So I just let that go a couple times. You can hear it pretty loud.
Yeah. Well, I used Audacity to amplify it more, but it actually was very loud on this when I played it back before because you can actually plug this in. It comes with a USB.
Yep.
So I plugged it in my computer, but I wanted to bring up Audacity, cut it down, amplify it so that way it was easier to hear,
Yeah.
But I heard it loud and clear on the recorder when I first got it.
Oh. I'll just add the videos to the end because it's asking me to download them and stuff like that. So I'll save them and then I'll put them on the video for YouTube at the end there.
It's a fascinating clip. Fascinating. I can't believe I caught that either. And that was the first time me using this EVP recorder.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what even stranger. It's like, why did I get the EVP recorder? Well, of course, because I do investigations in the cave.
Yep.
The first night we wrapped it up in saran wrap. So it wasn't raining or anything, but just to make sure nothing hurt it or whatever. And we stuck it right outside the cave. It was out there for about an hour and 15 minutes. The Bigfoot howl doesn't come in until about an hour and 6 or 8 minutes. And before the Bigfoot howl came, I mean, goodness, it was picking up dogs that there's not even any dogs around here. You could hear the echo of like a few dogs at first, like they were getting
Oh.
upset about something.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you hear that howl come through. And then you don't hear the dogs anymore. I think it was honestly vocalizing to them, like, you're on my nerves.
Yeah.
Very weird. And before that, which I don't know. It sounded like someone was walking up on this mountain. Very big, going through the leaves, not crunching twiggies,
Branches.
like branches. And it
Oh,
was
man.
Tennessee has some soft land.
Mm-hmm.
So what we hear around here, we can hear something that's always by this cave that comes to the side of our house, and you can hear it pounding in the ground. You feel the vibration under our bed.
No shit.
I've always wanted to say that I wanted to run into a Bigfoot. I've prayed for it, everything, but when you hear the power, you almost like, do I really want this? Because a week after we recorded that, we're sitting in bed watching TV. It's probably like, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, maybe. And all of a sudden, so here's like, you're looking at me right now. So,
Yep.
okay, so here's my head. I'm laying on the bed. The TV's right here. Okay, so we have a wall right here. That's the front of the house, is behind our heads. Okay. I'm trying to set up the scene for all your listeners. So if you look at our cabin, you can't get to our cabin on the front porch unless you crawl up the one side, because there's a railing there. So you got to hike up, crawl underneath the railing, and then you're on the front porch. If you wanted to go that way, which nobody does. So if you go from the entrance, there's 3 steps that you come up. Okay. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, Kevin, I shit you not, something pounded on this wall that is the front of our house with the most. I'm not saying that men aren't strong, but this wasn't a man. This wasn't a human being. Because a human being, you would hear the pounding, but it's dull. There's not a lot of force. You know what I mean? Because it's a wooden cabin on the outside.
You
So
also don't
you'd
want to
hear.
break your hand either.
Thank you very much. Exactly. But first it went boom, boom, and we were like, oh my God, what is that? And literally, it only takes 5 seconds to get from our bedroom to the sliding glass door, which is out. You open the door and there's it's the length of our house. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you're standing on our front porch, there's a creek. There's an embankment. You can't get up to the front porch unless you're down in 20 feet down and you walk up and you crawl up the embankment of rocks. So we ran out, whipped the sliding door open, looked left, looked right, nothing there. Okay. We're like, oh, what's that? Go back, sit in bed. 5 minutes later, dear God, oh my God, I'm getting chills again because it was so loud. It vibrated my decor on the walls of the bathroom. So the room over and behind me, it went boom, boom, boom. It was so loud. Jake grabbed his shotgun. I grabbed my Glock that's right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
We ran outside, whipped the sliding glass door. Nothing there.
And you
And
don't
we
have cameras on that backside?
well, we just got the Arlo camera. So,
Nice.
yeah, and then we're getting one more to do facing the entrance of the cave.
Okay.
But come on. I mean, y- a man couldn't have done that. It was a strength that's not normal.
Right. Right.
So, yeah,
And if Bigfoot is interdimensional and magical, like some people believe, rather than like a real, like abiding by nature being, there's a good
right.
chance that he might be, or she, or both, might be able to disguise themselves through your camera.
Right. True. I mean, maybe, well, there's some people that actually say, some researchers say that well, I don't know if it was research. Let me backtrack. I think it's just people that have had an experience out in like Washington. They said that they saw Bigfoot, but then it sucked into nothing. Like
Mm,
it went into some, so maybe that 5 seconds that it took me to get out there, I think Bigfoot, to me, I believe he can teleport. I believe that he has some type of mysterious way that's how he's remained undiscovered for so long. That's why nobody's killed him, captured him, anything. You know,
yep.
he can go in a drop of a hat and
Right.
then pop up somewhere else. I mean, again, that's my opinion
And then there's a shit ton of cave systems in Tennessee, so
though. And one of them's right in my backyard.
exactly.
You literally go off, you open this back door right here, and there's my entrance right there. I have three entrances. You have the main one, and then you have like a one that kind of sits up in the middle a little bit, and
Yep.
then another one that's on like the left. So there's three different entrances. And dude, the shit is big. It goes miles back in there. And I mean, it gets dark 30 feet in. You can't, and some of the things I've caught in there, I've caught shuffling, I've caught whispers, um, shadows. I've caught like light white, kind of translucenty things that dart really, really fast,
Oh shit.
abnormally. Yeah. So you'll have to come and go exploring in the cabin sometime.
I I want to. I actually just heard the other day that there's a shit ton of treasure buried in one of them caves out in Tennessee.
I would not be surprised because literally, like I said, right in front of our house, we have a creek. Now it's dry most of the time,
Yeah.
but it's when you get the heavy rains that come down from the mountain. But I've heard people, the lady that lives across the street, she said people will pan sometimes because the shit that comes down from the mountain. But
Mm-hmm.
you walk back in that cave, you see some interesting colors, sparklies. Now I know some
Okay.
of it can be like I don't know, what do you call it? Like a certain fungi or something like that. But there's ones that look a little gold sparkly. But, I want to get the right gear to go in
Yeah.
miles.
Right.
But yeah, pretty
So
crazy.
so what made you decide to do your paranormal investigation? Did you like into the cave? Did you just happen to have the EVP recorder and just go in there, or
First what I did was I bought a what do you call those? The microphone you put the headphones on and then it's the parabolic mic.
okay.
First I had the parabolic mic and then I have a set of dowsing rods as well. And I turned on the app. I know people aren't really, a lot of people are getting fond of the Spirit Talker app that, a lot of paranormal groups on YouTube use. So I opened that up too. And let me tell you though, when you walk into this main entrance, the feeling you get is automatic. You're not welcomed. It you
Oh.
you're it's like you're being watched, that's a for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not, and I'm talking the day we moved here. I was so excited to go see that cave. I don't have anything in my head about it at that point. I just
Right.
moved here. My U-Haul is still filled out in the backyard. And I walk in and I was like, I took 2 steps back. And I'm like, well, why did I just do that?
Mm.
I just, but I mean, from what I heard also from the owner of this whole land here, is that the Cherokee and Chickasaw used to be here.
Yep.
And when I guess researchers from Tennessee State and a couple other universities have actually they've come here to do studies. There's also another one that's on our property that's about 300 feet down that has like a cenote where you can swim and it has a picnic table down there. And they're currently going to be doing another study on it this year in the summer too, I believe.
Oh, wow.
You can actually find pictures of that cave. It's called the Brewington Cave. You can see it on Flickr. That's
Okay.
where it's posted, and you'll see a bunch of the geologist students and doctors and stuff, or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
They're in it. But yeah, I was so excited, and like I said, I just walked in and I got an unnerving feeling, almost like there was a wall that I ran into, and that's a feeling I've never had before either. So I've experienced some things for the first time on this. And that's what led me to doing my podcast because I was like, well, I want to tell my story about living here. I'll keep investigating. When I find things, I'll make a podcast about it. But I also want to do stories that I love. I love cryptids. I love, the strange, the unexplained, like I said before, UFOs and, Area 51 and 52. And I like to get into all those deep, goings ons. But a lot of it too is just because I really got to see firsthand how scared you can be, even if you've asked for this stuff to happen. You are scared when it really does happen.
Yes. Yes. I was just telling Vicky too the other um I think we recorded 2 weeks ago that I should see shadow people's fairly regularly up in my hallway right in front of my bedroom door. And she's like we were messaging back and forth, and I was talking to her about her experiences, and she's like and then she goes, do you ever experience anything? And I go, yes, actually, because I'm sitting on my bed, I'm getting ready for bed,
Hmm.
and I look up, and then I feel my phone vibrate, and I look down because I was already looking at it, and I go, I'm actually looking at a shadow person right now.
You got to take a picture of that,
You know
Kevin.
what? I never think of that ever.
Get
I
at
should.
least one camera.
I should. You're
Do
right.
you always see him or her? See it? Do you
It
always see it there in
yes,
that area?
it's always in the hallway. Yeah.
Get a camera.
Yeah.
And just get one. I mean, you can get them, for cheap. Just set it up and catch it because, that would be something that you can follow along and do some episodes about is your life with a shadow, what it does, what it doesn't like, maybe set out some things. Does it move things? Does it not? Test it. Just
Right.
see what it is, who it is,
That's a
what
good
it's
idea.
capable of doing. You know what I mean? Like people you're the perfect example of what I'm talking about. About you can bring things to people about your experience to make them feel comfortable to say something. If Kevin's living with it and Kevin's okay about talking about it, well, so can I. And no
Right.
one's going to think I'm crazy. You should do that.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Be a voice.
Never even thought of it. Never even dawned on me to even try to snap a picture or any video. Like I literally have my phone in my hand, and I'm like, I'm just looking at this person right now. And then she's like, "Oh, that's not good." I was like,
No, that's the best thing to say, right? When you're sitting
"Yeah."
there.
And
Well, that's not good.
I go, "Well, it never does anything." And she's like, "Tell it to go away." So I go, "Go away." And then it went away.
And it's how much you want to get into it, of course, but be a little curious. Find out, like actually download that Spirit Talker app. I think it's only like $6.99, but you get it forever.
Yeah.
And have it set up because the thing really works. The Foreman brothers um, from Paranormal Nightmare use it, Twin Paranormal, um, the Paranormal Files with Colin and his dad Jeff. Like a lot of big time that got like 1 million subscriber people, they use it and it works. I've used it here. When I used it in the cave once, and guess what word it said? Cave. I mean, you
Of course
can't
it did.
out of a whole dictionary of words,
And it just
and it
picks that
says
one.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But talk to it. You never know. Be like, even if you don't see it before you go to bed, whatever time that was that you saw that shadow, pull up the Spirit Talker, sit your phone in front of you on the coffee table, and just say, hey, I just want to know, who are you? What are you doing here? Always wait like 15, 20 seconds after each question to let it, give it time to answer, of course.
Right.
You know, um, did you used to live here or was it the land? And you'll start seeing some answers pop up. Now, I've turned my Spirit Talker on many times and it won't say anything. But there's some times where I swear in the corner of my eye, I see something when I'm in my bedroom and I'll see like a black shadow down down here at the corner of the bottom of the door peeking. I'll whip that
No
Spirit
shit.
Talker out, turn it on, and it'll just start talking. I've gotten some names like Elmer, the land, cursed, a bunch of things. But then the next day I'll do something and it won't talk at all.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
apparently something gives it energy to
Yeah.
spit out words, and it's not me. So,
Yeah. Um, another thing is that my sister and I, so my sister, I don't know if you know this, but my sister does this podcast with me every once in a while.
oh
As
no, I didn't.
So yeah, my sister is a co-host from time to time, but she's pregnant, so she's been having a little bit of like lethargic issues, so she's always tired, and I have to do this at night because of my work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So like tonight, she was just like, oh, she just actually, so for everybody listening, my sister just found out that she is having a boy. So
Congratulations to your sister. Love
thank
it.
you.
Oh, you're gonna be an uncle.
Yes. And she she goes, so I'm not gonna be on the podcast tonight because we're gonna go and do stuff. And I was like, that's totally fine. And then I was like, hey, are you gonna have time for this podcast once the baby's here? Because if it were me, I'd be like, fuck the podcast. I'm gonna deal with this baby. You know what I mean? She's like, I don't know. I was like, you can throw in the towel. Just let me know. I was like, I'm fine. Like I started it by myself and everything, and I do most of the episodes by myself anyways.
Mhm.
So, but
Well, hey, if you ever want a co-host once in a while, I'll co-host with you. I love
perfect,
doing it. I think you're awesome. I think you have I think you have a lot to offer everyone on your podcast. I think you have a great voice for podcasting too, by the way.
oh, thank you,
Um, but yeah, anytime you want to do like a co-host or something, I mean, I'm down. Just let me
perfect.
know.
Thank you. I
Of
appreciate
course.
that.
Heck yeah.
There was something else that I was gonna get into while before I really started talking about my sister, and I kind of forget. Um, which happens to me almost every time I record with somebody. I'll have something formed in my brain and I'll be talking or they'll be talking and I'll let them finish, because I hate interrupting. And then
Am
it'll
I
just,
talking too much?
no, no, no. But it'll just go right out my brain and then I'll
I
start to
think that
speak
happens to
and I'll just
everybody.
be like, oh shit, where did it go?
That happens to everybody. Don't worry about that. Just ask me whatever. I'm here.
So, this is what I was this is where I was going with that. So my sister and I talked to a medium on this, and she had said that my great grandmother has been following me my entire life, and it has become my spirit guide.
There we go. Was
So
that a knock?
yeah, my hat just hit
Okay. You're freaking me
the
out.
the thing.
I was like,
I
is
just
that Shadow Man there?
this boom arm is brand new to me, so I'm trying to figure out a good way to
Yeah,
sit
here's
with
mine.
it. Nice.
My good old Yeti. Well, I just bought it like 2 weeks ago, but it's working wonderfully.
Yeah, I had a hard time. So this the second elbow just wants to stay straight. So I got the first one to bend and actually works out where I set it up because it comes down right in front of me.
Right where you need it to be.
So
That's
that's
awesome.
perfect
So
anyway.
did the medium, did she do like a reading with you or something like that?
Yeah, so she was talking about the stuff that she can do,
Okay.
and I was like, can you do readings through Zoom like the way like we're talking right now? And she's like, do you want to know if somebody's with you? And I was like, yeah, kind of. She's like, okay, well, since the minute we got on together, I have smelt cookies. And then it just like started spitballing from there. And she would
Oh
give us a little
my.
bit more information because me and my sister and I were like, who like cookies? And she's like, she has short hair, curly hair, and and I can't remember where she went with that. And she loves to bake. She is very loving, like somebody that you can talk to about anything, but she's a very stern woman.
And she didn't know you guys.
Nope, never met her in my life. And so my sister initially thought that it was my dad's mom.
Okay.
So she was a stern woman, but I never ever once saw her or heard of her baking.
Okay.
And as soon as my sister said that, the medium goes, I'm getting a lot of children, like lots and lots of children around me. I'm very happy. There's lots and lots of children. And
Oh.
my great grandmother had 18 children.
Holy shit.
So, yeah,
Wow. Well, that's so do you believe then? Do you believe in mediums?
I do. I do. Actually, on that note, too, I told that medium that my girlfriend in high school told me the same exact thing that my great grandmother was with me.
When did your great grandmother pass away?
She passed when I was 2 or 3.
Okay, so she was around when you were little. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So the story is because I'm part Native American. My dad's Native American, and my hair's black. My eyes are extremely dark brown,
Hmm.
and I guess my great grandmother, whenever I was around, and my hair was long too when I was little, um, and she would run her fingers through my hair all the time, and tell my mother that my eyes were beautiful, that I had beautiful eyes, and she loved my eyes. So
Oh, do you ever feel fingers running through your hair at like any time if you're sitting somewhere, if you're in bed, or I just wonder because some people do feel that when they have their grandmother or loved one, it could be their mom, someone, but they feel
you know,
sometimes.
I never really thought of it like that, but until you just said that, but sometimes I think that there's like a bug in my on my head and there's nothing there. So I wonder if that has something to do with it.
She's letting you know.
Yeah. And then so the late other than like the occasional shadow person, I had the latest incident that I had. I was laying on my side. My dog was behind me up against like my lower back and my shirt was like it had raised almost all the way up my back because I was sleeping,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden my shirt started to lower down, and I just let I like, and I was just kind of like waking up as I was feeling it, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I just
Oh
laid
my
there. I
God.
couldn't move.
See, she's trying to get your attention because you're not, well, have you acknowledged her at times? Do you ever talk to her like in the day, like, hey, grandma or great grandma?
I haven't, and I keep kicking myself in the ass for it ever since I talked to the medium because I've been meaning to, but with everything going on, I haven't.
I want you tonight or tomorrow, one night this week. Well, we got Thursday and Friday left of the week. I want you to download that Spirit Talker if you have an extra $6.99, and you open that thing up because number one, I don't I don't feel like she's the shadow. I don't feel like she's
Yeah,
the shadow,
neither do I.
but she's trying to let you know that she's here. So when you open up that Spirit Talker, I want you to make like a list, a couple questions that only she would know, know the answer to. But first start out with, hey, I'm seeing if you're here because, and then let her know that I feel you sometimes here. Give her examples. So she's like, oh, so he does know. He is kind of acknowledging that this is going on, but doesn't know that it's me yet.
Yeah.
And then, ask, can you just confirm that you're here? Can you tap or knock on something, or can you say your name, or, your husband's name, or my name, or what's your favorite color? Just do things to mess around with it, but give her time, give her a couple tries to do that because, she might not. Sometimes it takes spirits, if they've never been talked to using instruments,
Yeah.
it might take them a couple times to know. Now, granted, all she has to do is speak and pick a word out of the database, but I'm telling you, she's trying to let you know, and just even if you want to just let her be after those questions, but let her know that you know,
Right.
because maybe she's sticking around until you do.
Right. Well, if she's my spirit guide, she's here for a purpose too.
Right. But that's what I mean. She wants to tell you that she is here, but she wants you to acknowledge. So that way you can ask her for, hey, what should I do in this situation? What would you do?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in my best interest to do this? Let her be a part of that guide process and guide. But if, until you really acknowledge that she's there and give her that acknowledgement, that warmth, let her stick around, but let her know that you know that she's here and you appreciate it. And then that way, when you're sitting there cooking one day and be like, hey, is it in my best interest to do? Because I was always told never to ask really a yes or no question to a spirit guide because I use a pendulum.
Okay.
I have spirit guides. And I was always told never ask a direct question like that. Always say, is it in my best interest to, like when I said, I asked my pendulum last year, is it in my best interest to move to Tennessee? Just started going around in a circle all by itself. It's pretty crazy. I
Wow.
never I never believed in those before until, of course, same thing like I always say, until I've done it myself. Let me show you my pendulum real quick. So this is my pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the funny thing is people, I didn't believe in it because I never had one and I didn't know, but I was watching a woman on YouTube that's very good at what she does. And like, I can make this move right now and you're going to see my hand not do a damn thing. See how I'm holding it like this?
Yep.
Okay. Is anyone here? Show me a yes. What's your no? Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
It was yes is a circle, back and forth is no. So I'll verify. Am I talking to Bill right now? Do you see it saying no?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I talking to Kevin right now?
No shit.
And you see my finger, I am not moving it, Kevin. I always hold it by the ball like that. That sounds awful. Anyway, I always hold it by the ball. Shit. Anyway, But that way it's not like I'm holding this part, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's that way it's like I'm not even touching the necklace part. But here, oh, what's your great grandmother's name?
Elsie.
Elsie, okay. I wish you could see, because you can't. Okay, can you see everything?
Yes.
Okay. Let me stop it. Is Kevin's great grandmother Elsie in his apartment? Is she the shadow that has been around his hallway in his? No. Do you see that?
I do.
So your great grandma's in there, but the shadow is not her. Is the shadow there to harm Kevin? Is it a bad entity? Do you see I'm not moving my hand?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how fast this thing goes when you put your, like, I have good vibrations. People are probably thinking I'm a crazy wacko right now, but
Whatever. Who cares what they think?
but I talked to Metatron. He's one of the archangels. So Metatron, are you here with me right now? Watch how fast I get this going. Metatron, show me exactly how strong you can do this. I want you to do it as fast as you can. Faster. Faster. I want you to do a wide circle. Do you see this? Let me see if I can test it. Is my name Clarissa?
Oh, shit.
Is my name Farrah? Look how it picks back up like that. Look at that.
Wow.
Should Kevin, let me see what I should ask. The black shadow, can Kevin talk to it? Can he banish it from his apartment? Ooh, so you can tell it to go.
Okay.
Is Kevin's grandmother or great grandmother Elsie, is she his spirit guide? Is that who his spirit guides are? Does he have any more spirit guides? No. That's it. Look at that. It went slow down and then goes back and forth.
Huh.
So he's protected by his great grandmother. Starts back up again. Let me try this test. One more last test. Is Kevin French? Is he Indian? Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not moving a wink. This is like one of the, like I said, I use it for guide. I don't use it for like, am I going to get rich tomorrow? Give me the lottery numbers. Nothing like that. But it definitely makes you feel like you're in tune more with your spirit.
Yeah.
Your spirituality that, usually I get Metatron and Michael. Those are the two archangels that usually come through pretty strong for me. But there's been some times where I get goodness, who's the other one? Ezekiel. I don't even remember all the rest of them because it's usually Metatron and Michael that come through. But sometimes one more will come in there, like Raphael. There's another one. But I didn't believe in it, and then I freaked my husband out by showing it that, because what's funny is I
bet.
got him a pendulum.
Yeah.
His wouldn't move.
Huh.
And that was
Interesting.
very interesting to me
Yeah.
because I was like, why? I mean, I would have my thing going like this, and I bought him one, and we sat down to try it, doing like our a meditation,
Yeah.
and he started asking questions. That thing just stayed right there. And then he's like, is it broke? I was, I was like, no, it's not fucking broke. But it that's when someone needs to work on their spirituality.
Yeah.
So you
He's
should try
gotta
it, Ken.
he's gotta open himself up to spirit.
But see, he's a veteran. He has
Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah.
So that's probably his blockage right
Probably.
there.
Probably. So for everybody that is just listening, Farrah's pendulum, if you don't know what a pendulum is, it's basically a crystal on
Hmm.
like a necklace chain, and then at the end is just a tiny little ball that you hold on to. And then the questions that she asks, for yes, it's a circle, and then for the no, it's back and forth, so front and back.
Whenever you get your first pendulum, you always ask it. Like, I know, and I tell everybody this, anytime you want to get into using a pendulum, the first time you get it, you ask it what its yes is and its no is. You don't make it, hey, circle is going to be yes, no. You let it speak. It picked out what it wanted to be yes and what it wanted. And a weird thing is, I have a second one.
Mm-hmm.
When I got it out and I asked it, back and forth was yes, circle was no.
That's
So
interesting.
I was like, okay, so it must be a different guide or, something that's what they like. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty cool. I
that's
love it.
that's interesting too, because I was told that I had a second spirit guide, and your pendulum just said that I didn't.
Hmm.
So that's pretty interesting. Um, I don't
But
really know.
it's good to know that, the shadow, you got to try to talk to it to, maybe find out what it's there for.
Yeah,
And it's not for good. You need to put your foot down, just like Vicky said,
yep,
and say, like, you got to go.
right.
You got to go. You're not welcomed here. Get gone. In a nice way, I guess. I don't
Right. So do you think that you might have like some kind of like medium empathic ability about you?
I think I do in a small way.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me nuts when you watch YouTube videos these days where you get these girls that are just like 19, 20, 25, and they're like, I feel something. I can't breathe. And it's like, well, that's because your clothes are too tight. It's just like everyone says they're a medium these
Yeah.
days, and people do make fun of it, and they should, because look at the ones that are popular that get people's money. What do they say? They go into a crowd and they go, like, in a crowd of like 50 people will be sitting there. Does anybody have a mother that died? Well, no shit, somebody's going to have a mother that died.
Right.
I feel that she couldn't breathe. Well, no shit, that's why she's dead, because she stopped breathing. That's what happens. That they do that, so you don't know, and you know that their teams are known for going out in the audience and pretending they're an audience member before the show starts.
That's
And
yeah.
somebody will be like, oh, I'm here to see, if Teresa, I shouldn't say, some lady, you know, you know who I'm
I
talking
know
about, right?
exactly what you're talking
Okay.
about.
You know, I feel verklempt, but anyway, but they'll sit there and, she'll have her probably team out there and they're like, oh, they'll get a conversation started and they're like, yeah, I'm here to see, I want Teresa to do, and read. My kid died in a car accident. Well, you're giving them everything that you don't think they got scouts going around. Come on. But it's always, and that's what I can't stand about YouTube is some people, there's some people I know that do, but I can just tell they don't,
Yeah.
because it's always when their co-hosts, whoever they are, will be like, "Oh my God, I just saw that," and then the supposed medium girl goes, I was gonna say that he was there, and it's like, but why didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yes, I see that all the time. Have you seen the videos of I can't remember the name of the videos he goes by. I think it's like the taxi medium or the Uber medium or the driving medium, whatever.
I've passed his video once. I haven't really watched it. Tell me about him. What's he like?
He doesn't want them to tell him anything. So he'll just be like, so he'll be driving them to wherever they need to go.
Mhm.
And he'll just be like, so do you believe in mediums? Like, especially if he picks something up,
Mhm.
which I don't think they put videos out where if he doesn't pick anything up. So it makes it look like, they're catching stuff all the time, kind of like Ghost Adventures.
Okay.
But so they get in his car and he's driving. He's like, do you believe in mediums? He'll ask them questions to try to see how like open-minded they are and whatnot and all that. And
Mhm.
then he'll start giving them information. They'll be like, oh my God. And stuff like so this
So
one,
he doesn't lead them on though.
no,
Okay.
he doesn't get them to give stuff away.
Okay.
So they usually don't say anything until he's done talking.
Okay. Well, then I think I'll take definitely a watch because
Yep.
I'm critical. But if you say that that's how he does it, I am more going to steer that way to believe someone like him.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there was these two girls in his car one time, and he said something about, well, I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but she went to speak and he's like, don't say anything. He's like, I don't want you to he's like, I don't want you to give me more information than I that than because I want you to believe me when I'm
Right.
telling you this stuff.
Right.
So, and I was just like, oh, and then and every time I come across one of his videos, I sit there and watch it. And this one was about this woman who was sex trafficked, and he knew, like he knew, and he said something about it, and she's just like, yes, she's like, yes, I was, and he goes, well, first he described how her father died, and she started crying,
Oh my
and
Lord.
then he said, were you abducted or he's like, I'm getting the sense that you were taken when you were young and you were given out to people.
Oh
And she
my
was like, I
God.
was trafficked when I was young. And then she's like, well, he goes, I'm getting information. Your dad is telling me that he is upset that he didn't try harder to find you. And she just like had this breakdown.
Was she was kidnapped
Ba-
or
she was kidnapped and trafficked.
and he knew all that. Wow.
Yeah.
Now see, I'll tend to believe something like that because like I said, it seems like the popular ones. I know there's that one guy that's the guy medium. He's like short. He wrote a bunch of books, and then there's John Edwards, I think, is another one. But it just seems like the one I was talking about earlier. I don't like how she sets it up
Yeah, me neither.
because it's to me, you're not even looking at someone direct. You're looking in a crowd. I see a sister behind someone right there. And everybody's like, I got a sister. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's I just don't like that. You shouldn't play with people's emotions like that. And it's always you hear her say labored breathing. La- I feel labored breathing. Well, of course, if somebody's dying, they're going to have labored breathing. And
exactly.
then it's in the chest. Well, there's heart attack, fluid, CHF, cardio. That you're not narrowing it down for us, honey.
Hmm.
And I couldn't even imagine how much she charges for a couple,
Oh my
for a
God.
person. I'm sure it's
Right.
outlandish, but that's like I said, I'm critical of the ones on YouTube because let's be honest, we're in a world now where people do crazy things for views.
Instant gratification.
Instant and that's exactly what I said. They know they've done their research. Okay, YouTube. all right, what can I do? What's a good trend? Oh, here's one. I can do that. But it's funny when I watch this person investigate, there's not many times that she says something by herself. It's, when, like I said, a co-host says something or, oh, someone just touched me. I was just gonna say, someone was gonna touch you. And it's like, well, fuck, I can say that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, come on, just don't play with people's emotions like that because some people, it is hard for them to lose a loved one and they don't get over it. And
Mhm.
they're grasping for straws for anything.
Yep.
A mother is going to want to talk to her young child that died. Come
Yes.
on. That's the worst thing for a parent
Mhm.
is to lose a child. You're playing on that. And how dare you charge for that? How dare you? That's
Mm.
just not right.
Yes.
If you're going to do it, don't charge. That's my opinion though. And
Right.
I'm an opinionated person,
As we all should be.
as we all should be. And my pendulum.
And we don't have to agree on opinions and get along too.
And that's what I don't like about,
The world today.
yeah, the past 3 years have been, you know, I have never been a political person, and I won't get into politics on this on your show, but
Yep.
we'll just say it like this. I've never paid enough attention to politics to speak my mind about it or to even have a thought about it.
Mhm.
But when you see what's going on, it's that outlandish what's going on in today's world that I notice it. And
Mhm.
I've never voted for a president because to me, it's like a debate. You're going to say what you want to say. If people don't know that by now, they're going to hook, line, and sinker you to get the vote. Number one, they're not really the people that make 100% decision. They're the face that
Mm.
gets pushed out there with a teleprompter. Here you go, Joe. Here, let's scoot over here. Remember, your name is Joe, and this is what you're going to read. That's what they do.
That's exactly what they do.
Everybody, and it's just
Everybody's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna vote for the lesser of two evils." I was like, "You shouldn't have two evils."
exactly
First of all, there are more than two parties, but there's only two parties that go to electoral colleges, and that's another thing is people are all like, so not to go too long on the political aspect,
right, right, right.
but people think that we are a democracy. We're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
And
And that's why the electoral colleges are there. People are like, why is there electoral blah, 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 you know what I'm saying?
I
And
know. I got you. I'm
why
right
do
here.
why do we have that? So like democracy is run by the majority.
Yeah.
So the majority rules. So a constitutional republic minds the constitution and elects that way.
Well, jumping into the paranormal again, I think there's something off about some people in the political world in that way.
I
You know
agree.
where I'm, thank you.
I
You know
agree
where I'm
with you.
going with that.
Yes, ma'am.
It's, there might not be some Illuminati or something, fantastic, fabulous, and underworld to dig a good, juicy story. But I will say that Joe Biden looks awfully different than when he came into office. And if I were to say anything, I do remember the story that I told yesterday on the live show about the ranches that we were talking about, the Stardust, Skinwalker, Blind Frog. They're known to have someone that dressed in a suit, but yet saw a jumpsuit underneath. It almost makes me think that. There's just something behind that skin.
Yes.
you know,
I,
and it's scary.
it is scary.
It's scary.
We're gonna most likely be diving into that topic on the next Conspiracy Tuesday that
Mm.
we do, and we're gonna be recording that in towards the end of April. So,
Well, I'm on board for that one.
Mrs. Spooky is gonna be there for it,
There you go. Well, I'll be on for the next one.
so you can come. You can be a part of it too if you want. So it's gonna be so Jen from 305 Paranormal, she's probably going to be involved with the basically like a co-host for the Conspiracy Tuesday episodes,
Hmm.
because she does dives like I do, and she thinks the same way that I am figuring out that you do and I do. Um
Hmm.
so yeah, usually I try to do, so what I want to do is have four, and also me and three guests for every Conspiracy Tuesday. So right now it's only Jen and Vicky. So if you would like to, we can you can join.
Oh, I would totally do that just because I am really in tune with a lot of those conspiracy theories with UFOs, the Federation, who's really controlling America.
Yes.
It's very scary if you really think about it. I mean, when the government puts $22 million into a study of UFO, why is that? Is
Mm.
it to help make who they're shoving in front of the camera look a little better? How do we do this? How do we go about? It just seems like, there you go. Someone's running our country into the ground deliberately.
On purpose, exactly. That's what it seems to me. It's
I'm
it's
terrified.
wild. Yeah, it's wild to think back before pre-pandemic how things were, and then post-pandemic how like so much different, and people will blame, like they'll be like, well, it's because of the pandemic, but
No,
you know.
that was just an excuse for things to go on under our noses and we just stay in our house.
Right.
But to swing paranormal back in, maybe that little orb that came to visit me is the aliens to come take me away when the country goes to shit. So
Maybe. Well,
he's
you
like,
did see
"Hey,
an
you got a first class ticket."
yeah, you did see a UFO, so
Yep.
let's get into that. What happened with that?
Well, it was actually so the first camera I had was a Ring camera. It wasn't the Arlo cameras. I just got those last week.
Okay.
So the Ring camera, which I like is cool, is that you see my bird, right?
Yes, ma'am. Is that a parakeet?
It's a green cheek conure.
Oh, okay.
It's gypsy, huh? But so the Ring camera is on my well, I my front porch is like this, but I have like a side porch over here. So it's like a
Okay.
front side porch. But what I like about the little Ring camera is when you go to a live view, it automatically records, right? But it also, you can go back through the night and every hour you can see like a probably like 10-second clip. So I go all the way back. So it's like, say it's like 8 in the morning.
Yep.
I go all the way back till 7 at night. And I just go really slow. And you can do like a really slow with your finger, frame by frame. And all of a sudden, there was this, and literally it looked like this. It was like round, like an arc, well, what do you want to say? Like a dome shape,
Yep.
and then had this. So it's like a saucer kind of thing almost. But I look at that fucking Ring camera every night, Kevin. I know what my skies look like. I know where the street light is across the road. This was up in the sky. Like if you were on my porch, you would have to look like this. And nothing ever else was there. And I've
Wow.
lived here since November, and I think I caught it in like December or January. But yeah, so I'm going through and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And in like a matter of less than a second, it's gone. So it was something that came in and went. And so what I did was you can download, your thing, and then I screenshotted it and I put it up on, Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But it was, I mean, it was right there, like it was looking at my house, and
Wow.
it emitted its own light as well, which I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Is that bright orb? Is it tied to that in some way? Because it was emitting its own light too.
And it's
Both of
orange.
them were.
It was orange, right? The light, the orb. It looked a little orange, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked a little orangey. It
Hmm.
and it and you can see there's nothing in it. It is like a light, like a
Yeah.
pure light, and it has movement. It has intelligence. But like I said, that thing up there too, it's like maybe that's together. I mean,
Yeah.
wonder if it is. Maybe that's the little drone that's coming down spine. I don't know.
It could
But
be. It could be. A lot
but
of.
that's why we got the cameras, because we're pointing some of them kind of up so we
Mhm.
can see if we can catch anything else.
That is a good idea, I think.
Hmm.
That is for
Very
sure
good.
good. But I haven't seen a UFO myself. My sister thinks she has. But yeah, no, I actually just interviewed a guy who is a UFO researcher and has 12 incidents himself of seeing UFOs.
Wow.
So, and he's written several books too, and he's from Maine too. So I really I was kind of like fangirling it a little
Aw, I love you so much.
bit. But I think, oh man, I would love to see a UFO. But so if anybody doesn't know, um Farrah is actually within the bubble of Oakridge. If you don't know what Oakridge is, it's like a miniature CERN. If you don't know what CERN is in France, and it is a particle accelerator, and that's what Oakridge is. And it
Hmm.
is said that the accelerator is opening portals. So, in things like Bigfoot, Dogman, UFOs, aliens, they're coming through this portal. So, the area of in Tennessee that Farrah is in is famous.
Literally.
Yeah, it's kind of famous. That area is famous for Oak Ridge being there, with accompanied of having a shit ton of UFO, paranormal, supernatural, cryptid sightings. So,
It is. Now, when spring and summer hit, let me tell you what, I'll be doing some more investigation. I'm going in those woods. And I'm going to, set up rocks to see if anything stacks any rocks up. I'll set up food. We're going to get some trail cams and stuff. So, like I said, part of the conversation cabin is also conversating about the cabin and this area that I'm living on.
mm.
So, but it takes time. I don't want to fake any evidence, unlike some people out there. Yeah, I don't need to be, a millionaire or anything like that. I'm quite happy where I am in life, but it takes time to gather evidence, and I want to do it the right way. And because that's why there's a longer version of like the orb that I caught. It took like maybe 15-30 seconds for the orb to first come in, but you had people only watching 15-30 seconds, and they're like, all I see is a street light. Well, you did say that the video was 3 minutes, right? It's like, there's so many, I can't stand the trolls that, you're like a pizza-faced gamer geek that hasn't stepped out of your house in like fucking 5 years and seen the light of day, and you want to tell me about my stuff? Let me see your shit. Until you can get evidence, I'm not going to criticize anybody's stuff, but I put it because you need to set the scene. I
Yep.
did a Zoom version, but I put up the full version first because I want you to see how it was dark, it was quiet, and this thing doesn't even make any noise. And
Mm.
it's just there. It's beautiful. And then I did one where I cut it down. But like I said, this place here, one of the things I'm going to be doing once I get more out there and get bigger with my podcast is I will have a giveaway. of being able to win a trip out here for 3 days on a weekend, arrive Friday, leave Sunday, to
Nice.
come out here and explore the cave, do an investigation, go in the woods, things like that. Because, I mean, look what I've caught in such a very little time, you know?
Yeah.
But like I said, that's why I did all the cameras and everything, because this place is fucking spooky. You go outside at night just to grab something out of the truck, and
And you,
you're like, because I mean, Kevin, if you look at my backyard,
yeah.
it's a mountain. So you look up and you just do not know what's looking down at you. Across
No.
the street, huge mountain. Across the street, I mean, I live on 448 acres of crazy ass historic land.
That's a lot of land.
Anything could happen here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm giving it time, letting the shit come to me. But like I said, I do the investigations in the cave and stuff, and I'll always post when I do one and if I caught something, and even if I don't, just so you see that I'm doing the work. I don't need to fake it. I'll make it on my own. I'll make it with me and my truth and telling you a story. So,
And you are a phenomenal storyteller.
thank you. I appreciate that very much.
You're
I
welcome.
try.
Do you see yourself writing more stories like the one that you wrote for your grandkids?
Yes. Yes, I actually had some people email me regarding it and wanted me to do a story for their children.
Oh, nice. That
So
is
I was
cool.
thinking maybe, once a month do that. Like, um, I give me your kids' names. And so I did put these three people. I said, when I start doing it, you're going to be the first three that I do. So I think I'm going to start that in April or May. I'm going to
Nice.
do that. So,
That's a good idea.
because, my grandbabies, it was Sierra, my daughter, of Luna is her, daughter,
Yeah.
my granddaughter. So those were the two characters, well, three characters. It was Luna, Lily, and Sunny K, because Sunny K was just born. So she's a newborn, but I still wanted to use her. And it definitely gave me the idea for it, because Sierra said Luna held that phone and just thought she was queen shit, because she heard her name coming through that radio, and the way that I said, well, Luna said this, and Lily was like, Luna, it's not all about you, and really played off how they do act as toddler girls, Luna and Lily. So I thought, I'll do that. And no, it's not going to be a Patreon thing and donate $50 and I'll do it. It's going to be for free. I'm doing it because you want something cute to do for your kid's birthday or anything. Give me what kind of scene you want for them and I'll do it. I think
Nice.
it's making a kid happy for the day. They feel special when
Mm,
their name comes over. Most of the time my episodes, and I will click if it's an explicit episode, if I'll be swearing in it, or if
right.
it's a clean like I did with Little Red Riding Hood.
Yep.
Um, but for the most part, I try not to use swear words, but I mean, you kind of got to. It's my channel. I'm not gonna, if you don't like it, don't listen to it, but sometimes things get me going so much where I do. But like I said, I will start doing those. They will be clean content for those series. But
Right.
yeah, I was surprised that I actually even had people contact me about that. It, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. But hey,
No,
it happened, so that's good.
when I listened to it, I was 100% sure it's somebody or at least a handful of people were probably reaching out to you. I
Well,
like
thank you.
because you did like voices for the characters too, like different voices. So that was
Hmm.
pretty cool too. That was a cool aspect of the story. So
Yeah, I was trying, and I don't know how I came up with Queen Participe. I don't know where that came from. It must be my crazy mind half the time. But I was like, what do I name myself? I just don't want to be Queen Nana. And I was like, Parnicipy. How it came out in 1 second, I don't know.
That's
But I
hilarious.
really loved doing that. But in general, I just love telling stories. I've always been taught to use inflection in my voice,
Yep.
but tell me what you think as a listener and just being in the podcast world before me. Do you think people like listening to how I'm doing it, or do you think that they like it where people just come in and talk about it, talk about what the subject is?
I
What do you
think
think?
I think people so as a podcast listener, um I listen to both aspects. So I listen to people who tell stories and I listen to people who conversate about it. So
Okay.
I listen to both. So I can guarantee you most people who like the storytelling
Hmm.
also listen to conversations about it as well. And because there's so many different kinds of podcasts. I listen to comedy. I listen to stuff about movies. I listen to storytelling. So I don't know if you're from. So I listen to you, obviously, and I listen to Mr. Ballin, he just tells stories, straight anything spooky, dark, and mysterious.
Ooh,
Mysterious.
okay.
And
Okay.
he puts like a twist on it. He'll give you like all this information, and then right at the end, he'll tell you like the actual story of what happened.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Well,
So
I was thinking about changing up, like having one episode where I tell it. If it fits like a story, I'll
mhm.
tell it. But if it's one where you're kind of all over the place and you really can't put it together, then I'll make it more. What I'm going to do is I just put the ad out tonight where I'm doing Screams of Summer. So I'm going to start booking guests. So anybody out there that wants to, if you have a haunted house, if you've had a scary experience when you've been ghost hunting, exploring, or seen a UFO or anything along those lines, I'm going to start booking for spring and summer because to hear I want to hear the story firsthand from someone. I don't want to be hearing it and me type it up and then read it. I,
Right.
I want to hear about somebody's experience. I'm sure, it's fascinating. I want to just know, even people that have like a demonic infestation, they did or they have one. I want to know, what is that like? What do you feel? Have you gotten hurt? I was actually contacted by someone on TikTok. She said she lived in a house, like 100-year-old house. Lived is the correct
R-
word, because apparently she still has the scar to prove that there was some goings on there. That's all I got. I said, email me or message me. I want to hear this. So I put up the ad, and like 30 seconds later somebody responded to it, and I was like, wow, we need to get this rolling. I want to get people, I want it to be the Screams of Summer. I'm kind of having like a backdrop of Scream, because if you remember the first Scream movie, it was nice weather. It kind of sat in that 90s vibe of haunting. So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do that. So I'm really excited to do that. But I kind of, like I said, I'm going to change it up. If it's meant to be put in a story, I'll do that. If it's meant to just kind of shoot the shit about it and maybe have a guest call in and just talk about it with someone that's not planned, what do you think? I'm
Yeah.
going to do that too, because with my podcast server, whatever you want to call it, I have interactive where they can call in, they can chat, whatever. So, I'm kind of looking forward to doing that too.
That's a cool idea,
Interesting.
Farrah. That's a cool
Yeah,
idea. I like
I'm
that.
hoping. I want to have you on my show too,
I
because
will
I want to hear more about your shadow too.
I would love to come on. I have a few stories that I could tell you, actually.
Then we're booking.
All right.
So we'll contact you, me, you, me, you, me. We'll
Yes, ma'am.
contact each other.
Yes, ma'am. So we are approaching 2 hours. So I could probably continue talking to you for another hour, but we will
Same
cut
here.
this short and I'll be on your show, and maybe we can do another one on here. Obviously, you're already down for the conspiracy, so we
Down.
can talk more on that too. So before I let you go, just let everybody know where they can find you.
Sure. Again, my name is Farrah, like Farrah Fawcett. It's F as in Foxtrot. And you can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Audible, Amazon Music, Samsung, iHeart. Goodness, it's pretty much anywhere you probably listen to podcasts. But it's the Conversation Cabin. And I look forward to having, some new listeners. And if you do give me a chance, I promise I'm working my way up there. I'm getting better every day. And maybe I'll talk to, some of the listeners out there that listen tonight. I'm just trying to build a good following on who wants to hear truth, who wants to hear scary stories, who wants to be a part of the ride. So come join me, cabin crew. Oh, and my tagline, which I made myself, explore your strange.
Perfect. I like it. So please go check her out. Give her a 5-star rating if you like it, or give her a 5-star rating anyway, just to be friendly on whatever platform you listen to. And you can find her obviously on Instagram, and you can tell her what you think about her podcast. She is obviously, as you heard, very welcoming to hearing what's the fucking word that I'm thinking of?
Hearing scary experiences, true stories, your personal, what you experience. And I gave Kevin 5 stars because his podcasts are banging. So I would expect everyone else give 5 stars too, because he's doing a very, very good job. He is very welcoming himself. And I can't wait to have you on my show to tell your stories.
Thank you for the kind words, Ferry. I appreciate it. Anyway, so that's the show, guys. Definitely go check her out and give her some love. Like I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, if you want to tell your stories, anything weird, strange, cryptid, whatever, it has to do with paranormal, get me at wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com or where_the_weirdonesare at on Instagram. And if you get on my Instagram, you can find Farrah as well. So with that, I will tell you, stay weird.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky, when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish.